Hey YouTube, I'm Brick Smith, and welcome to Forever Sorting with Kevin A. Hinkle. Hey Kevin,
Hello.
how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, man.
Back for another tale, another time, another therapy session, whatever you want to call it.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah.
So still hanging in. Happy to report, family's still healthy. Everyone's okay. Kids are officially in summer. They've been in summer for a week now. That's been nice. Been able to catch up on work finally. It's just starting to open up. Connecticut's starting to open up. Today actually was the first day of phase 2 opening. And so there was definitely, as I was driving to go pick up dinner tonight, which I usually do like once a week, I noticed there was a lot of businesses that had cars in the parking lot that have been vacant for months. So I'm like, well, things are opening again. So of course stuff is still limited, but things are opening up, and I'm particularly excited that our gyms are apparently open again today. So it's been nothing is more frustrating than when you finally mentally tell yourself, I'm going to do this. And then you do it. And then some external force says, no, you're not. And it's like, that's just like, oh, and as everyone knows, because I was using the power of social media to hold myself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, hey, I'm going to try to get myself back in shape again. So hold me accountable.
Obviously, you went on long walks down your street, right?
Well, no.
But you did push-ups and sit-ups in the basement, right?
Oh, don't, how dare you? So yeah, there's obviously,
you couldn't have, because of it, you couldn't held yourself
my
accountable,
problem,
right? I understand.
My problem is it's a mental weakness, and it's a mental weakness I acknowledge. So they talk about, a lot of experts talk about, if you don't want to eat junk food, don't buy junk food and have it in your house. And I'm fully aware that, like, if I go and I buy a box of Pop-Tarts, right, and I go put them in my cabinet, I can say, those are just for the kids. I'm not going to touch those. We all know that's total BS. And maybe I'm going to be hitting up that strawberry Pop-Tart. And so I'm aware that I don't have the mental strength to, turn away from that stuff. I get it. I know that. And so that's why you just don't bring it in. And it's kind of the same thing for exercising. Like for me, there's a 1,000 things I can do at home, but it's that mental hurdle of, if I have to get up and put on gym shorts and shoes and drive to the gym, then I'm going to do something. Yeah. It's like, and I get it. It's a total mental weakness, and I acknowledge it. And I go, I need to physically move my body out of this house and go to another place for me to be like, yeah, let's do this. Let's start to get healthy. And so, yeah, there's stuff I could have done, but I didn't.
Right. Yeah, it happens.
I'm excited I'm excited about that once again, being back on the agenda. So yeah. But other than that, here we are.
Hashtag not me.
Hashtag not me. So here we are, nope. Julian. We kind of ended last time, and
I know. I'm not. Yeah.
Something I wanted to say. I know we need to get into the comments, and I'll get that open.
We'll get there.
Something I did want to say is, for those that have been listening to this from the very beginning and have just sat through hundreds of hours, it's got to be 100 at least, maybe at this point.
It might be more.
Maybe more. Listening to all this tale, and then it's like, whoa, hey, it just kind of like totally out of nowhere abruptly ended. It's because it just kind of out of nowhere totally abruptly ended. Like it's on purpose. It's that, like, the shock and dismay is real. For me as well, like living in that story, I'm just like, whoa, wait, what happened? Wait, I'm gone. Like that's literally how it went down.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And we have constantly we have a pre-show talk before we go live, and and occasionally I'll be like, so how many more you think we got? And he'll tell me, and then we had a conversation, and then the numbers didn't add up to when it happened. It was like, wait a minute, that was it.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
it snuck up on. I think it snuck up on both.
Yeah,
of us.
I mean, it kind of did, just because when on the last one, going through where I went through in the tail, I was left with a moment when I'm like, okay, I've kind of finished up what I really wanted to talk about, but there's not a lot left. I don't know if I can stretch that into the next episode, so I might as well charge through the end and just be done with it. So I just charged through the end and was done with it. But
that was so exciting.
I want you guys
like
to
watching
know,
the train.
I want you guys to know that, obviously, and I said this then and I'll say it again, there are 100% things that I'm not diving into the total details because I don't want to, because I'm not going to. I'm not going to sit there and be like, here's all the meetings, here's all the things everybody said verbatim, and here's the protocols, because I don't want to. I mean, there's a lot of other better reasons, but that's the main reason.
But I could tell you from there wasn't a story I didn't already know before Kevin told it to you guys, and he did good. He did great.
Yeah, you got like almost like what, 80%, 90% of the way there.
You guys got a lot. Lot. Now Kevin sometimes tells me boring stories. So you didn't get stuck with those.
Sometimes I just forget. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the thing. That was a thing. So, but yeah, I mean, that's it, guys. That's the journey. That's what my 12 years looked like, from beginning to end. And with that being said, I guess I'll go through the comments from the last.
No, I got a hardball question
before comments. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you up with it right now because it just if I don't, I'll forget. And the people in the comments, they don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
So here's a heavy hitter. I noticed that most of our guests came from your retail days.
When we had guests on the show.
Correct.
Right.
No one from corporate.
Yeah.
Was that I know that you, like, we discussed one person that you would have loved to have on, but other than that one person, is it because that your relationships were different and you're not as comfortable with the corporate people as you were with the retail people? Because the retail people, it feels like was family almost.
Yeah.
And other than the one that you wanted on, I can see pretty much. I feel like it was like, yeah, those are my coworkers.
That's a great question.
I know.
So, like just like the practicality to it is, we had talked about trying to have like a guest person on every other month, something like that. And we were actually doing pretty good. I was trying to bring in people that I thought added to the flow of the conversation. And I did have somebody in mind, and I was like, ooh, this is a good one to bring in. And it's not too far back, but it's a good place in the story. And I reached out to him, and he was willing to come on. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll come on. But unfortunately he was busy with work or something. He's like, reach out to me in a couple months. And then I was like, I'm kind of at a weird impasse. Cause I'm like, do I just go forward and we just go backwards? Maybe. And so like, I was kind of stuck and mentally in that holding pattern of, what do I do? Like, do I just find someone else, or do I just wait? And I mean, that just turned into like eternity. It turned into waiting forever. And so I never really put any effort into finding somebody else, and we just kind of moved on. But in terms of like familiarity and relationship wise, I would definitely say, without even hesitation, I was definitely closer to my retail colleagues than I were my corporate colleagues. There was definitely like an aura of dog eat dog in the corporate world, like friendly with you, but given the chance, I probably wouldn't go to bat for you. That's going to happen a lot more often than it didn't. Like really close personal friends from the corporate world. Let's see. I was really close with Kim, and I would really like to talk with Kim maybe at some point, maybe, you know, through whatever's the next iteration of this program, maybe Kim, but I've talked to Kim and he's not quite comfortable yet. No, not at all.
I mean, how raw is that wound anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I lived it. He was somebody I was really close with, but that took like 4 years to get to that point, and that was through like mutual trauma that we shared as community managers. But like he was someone, like, I'll say it this way: Kim came to my home. He was in my house. Like we sat over there and played Super Nintendo together. And then when I was in Denmark, I went to his house and had dinner with his family, and we played his NES with the Duck Hunt Zapper guns too. Like we had a close relationship. But I mean, he's in Billund. You know, he's over across the ocean. And then in infield, there's a lot of people that like I'm very familiar with and I don't mind. So a good example is Kongi, who came to Rickford, Alabama. Like I'm familiar with Kongi. He's cool. Like I've never like gone to Kongi's house and had a meal with his family.
He's a solid dude, y'all. If you get the chance to meet Kongi, do that.
He's fun. He's a fun guy. Cause he came down to Alabama this year, 2020, and helped like do
right in the Midwest.
Right in the Midwest. But there was not a lot of other people. There's people that like I thought I was a little closer with, and then once I was separated from the business, that relationship just totally dissolved. So it was like, So no, there's not a lot. There's one or two people that I am pretty close with, but they're still there and they're still very actively involved.
Yeah, we're not even gonna.
No, we're gonna.
I wouldn't even want them to. Yeah, I don't want them to get in trouble.
Yeah, but
that leads me to another question, but I'll try and remember it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another good one.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, folks.
You want me to go to the comments, or you want to ask?
No, let me ask a question. Okay, let me.
Go ahead.
So as we finish up this here, you have said at least once on the show and at least once behind, where people who are your friends and your Lego cohorts have said, Kevin, don't do this. Whatever this is, don't do this. Being this show. Do you feel like, and I'm not even worried about, inner Kevin, but do you feel like outwardly you have hurt yourself, your brand, or your potential future in the corporate world because of this expose on the Lego group, which it's not. I do these air quotes and I mean it.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right on the money. I do have ex-colleagues that, again, I mean, some of them, one of them I'm like super close with, and the rest are like, familiar, but again, not like going to each other's home and sending Christmas cards.
Right.
And they have expressed concern for me. They're like, Kevin, I really don't think they didn't come together. It wasn't an intervention. But they're like, we don't think you should do that. It doesn't seem worthwhile. And so personally, I feel like if anything, I feel like it could potentially be a problem if I decided to apply at some other company in the future. If they are like Google, let's do the old HR Google test, right? Where you throw because a lot of companies do that now. Like that's a pretty standard thing to do. And so, but then again, like when I think of those things, I'm like, okay, that's real. Somebody could Google my name and find it. Are they going to sit through 400 hours worth of live streams? Probably not. But
I don't think so.
And I mean, I don't know. But so the only, in terms of like regret or concern I've had is if it could potentially impact my hiring status at another company, but there's not a lot of companies I even have an interest in working for. And even like now, when I look for job openings, like I'm looking for job openings just like instinctively at Nintendo in Washington, and I'm looking at jobs at the animation studio that my friend works at in Texas. So, is what it is. So look at the Google results. It's pretty fascinating.
It is awesome.
And so something that's kind of interesting, I've mentioned Matthew hundreds of times on this show. He's
never heard of him.
Very close friend, and he is the man who has helped me build my website, my social media presence, basically my online brand was 100% built and consulted with Matthew. And he has been actually a lot more than me interested in my SEO, my search engine optimization of my name. And he has worked pretty hard to make it so that when you search for my name, like I remember he's like, I want to make sure that your website comes up before like an article you did with Brickset. Like he was like, that's very important to me. And he has done things like he speaks a different like language in that arena that I don't, but he's done a lot of stuff where I have seen real progress of what he's done. He's like, hey, look, just so you know, you Google Kevin Hinkle. Right now, your website's coming up 7th in Google results. And then he'll come back to me a month later, goes, now you're coming up 3rd. And I'm like, good. And so, look, you searched my name. It was my website. The first thing that came up was
boom, baby.
That's him. That's all him.
Nice.
That's what he did. And so, yeah, I mean, that's what I would want, is that my own stuff is the stuff that comes up, the first. Look, there's forever sorting right down there in the.
Oh yeah. We didn't even try, folks. That's how we get down. Right
there. So that's my only concern.
You're wearing that stupid sweater.
It's not stupid. It's beloved. It's a beloved piece of article of clothing. So
this one's almost up to 1 million. Sorry.
I don't really like. I go back and forth on do I regret speaking out against Lego, and I keep coming back to dancing back and forth because like I don't regret what I've done because I don't feel like I've done anything wrong. I feel like I literally sank my soul into a company that just really couldn't care less. And that's hurtful.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad and it makes me angry. A lot of the stuff I answer for fans now, questions or whatever, it comes from a place of I don't want to show off. I'm just trying to help you understand some of those decisions. Like, believe me, I'm not going to come defend Lego when people are super mad at them for something. But if there's some other topic that I'm like, well, that's just because of this. Like, I don't mind saying that.
By the way, Old Gray Bricks is a show that Fazoom does. I think it's on Wednesdays. And the reason I say this is they're going to tackle the topic of 18 plus by Lego. Yeah. Is Lego marketing to AFOLs now? That's actually going to be the topic for next week's show.
Cool. And I think, didn't we talk a little bit about that last time or something?
Yeah, you went on a tirade.
Well, it's just like, I won't do it again. So shall we open the comments from last time?
Poke the bear. Poke the bear.
I don't want people to have these false hopes. Like, it's not how it works.
As long as Lego is doing what they're doing, there are people who will have false hopes.
Happen no matter what.
That is because that is exactly what marketing is.
Yeah. All right. So let's get
absolutely. I mean, we're only 20 minutes.
No, it's fine.
You can find him on Patreon, folks. And all sorts of other social media. All you got to do is write his name into Google.
That's it.
You just got to Google the Hinkster.
Yeah. Hashtag Hinkster. So our first comment last time was from Awesome Recreation. And they said, first, also great show. Keep them coming.
Well, sorry.
About that. All right. So Brick Blaze says, Kevin's always fresh. Thank you, Blaze. Then later on, added a couple more. Julian using tough love on Kevin. He's bad for you, girl. You deserve better. And then he says, most big companies do just that thing to people. One of the times I was at Walmart, they were firing people who had been there over 10 years for little things, only to replace them with people making much less money. WWE just let go of 20 wrestlers, claiming it's because of COVID. Now they're offering some of these people new contracts for less money. I've said it from the beginning. I'm not surprised at all what happened. It doesn't make me any less sad, just not surprised. Next comment is from Fazoom. We were just talking about him.
Hey, look at her.
He said, my dad said to me, son, it's easier to turn a tractor's wheels when it's moving than when it's sitting still. That's dad advice to a good dad. And he says, oh, mad props. Me, you really like me. No, seriously. So like and subscribe. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Who was that? Zoom?
That's Fazoom, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Next comment is
Brick Blaze just texted me. That's who that was.
Topical Blaze.
Right on time.
Duju20 says, good one, guys. Keep up the good work.
Really?
He did have a question mark, a ... question mark before.
Right.
Strawberry said, thanks for another episode. Sad to hear that they unceremoniously let Kevin go, but also sends one of those wanted to spend more time with his family BS emails. Oh, yeah, to notify others of his departure. It was particularly stinging, that email, because, of course, I got it. And it was like, because when you're a Lego fan and your job's with the Lego fan community, that like fluffy statement about your job is sent to all the blogs that you follow. So it's like I woke up and it was like, I didn't wake up, but I remember that day, I mean, all the channels, every blog, every website had Kevin Hinkle let go. And the email was just like, we want to thank Kevin so much for all of his wonderful. I'm like, you don't want to thank me too much. So
here's the thing is I knew of Kevin, but it wasn't like at that point, I think I'd been to one show.
Yeah.
Like ever. So, and had little community management necessity. Sure. Other people knew of him and spoke of him highly, like always. And I was like, so when it trickled down to me, I was like, oh man.
So that happened.
That's tough.
So that happened.
Yeah. And then 4 months later, the bromance was started.
Just the rhino happened.
We ain't looked back yet, folks.
Just the rhino.
Hey.
There it is. It's just the rhino.
Right there. And also, again.
Yeah, the pink.
The pink sparks.
The pink one. The fancy one.
Yeah.
He might have an illness. That's all right. So let's see. Keith said, always worth repeating, loyalty is only a one-way street in corporate life. Max out the 401k, keep that resume updated, and always be open to new offers from other firms. When Kevin was telling the story about pulling into the church parking lot and saying, we need to talk, he should have, at least for his audience, said he told his wife, I'm pregnant. It's a miracle. Let's pray. I'm sure we have not begun to scratch the surface of your Flickr albums. Perhaps another screen share and tell. I nominate the Lego Brand Retail Inc. album. Yeah, there's still we did a bunch of those, like, photo sharing.
That's a great idea. We was just talking about stuff.
Right.
That's a great.
Yeah, there's like I think there's 3,000 photos on my Flickr account, and I know nobody uses Flickr. I get it, but it's an account I started once upon a time, and it's still there. And because I've changed phones and computers and all kinds of stuff over the years, a lot of those photos are only there. Like that's the only place they are. And thankfully,
is that Joey?
No. Thankfully, Flickr is a decently good photo hosting site. So like those photos are the highest resolutions they were when I took them, and they haven't been compressed at all. But yeah, they're only there.
That is the one thing that the nerds keep telling me is that Flickr.
Compressed, right? Yeah.
Detail. And people can leave comments on the actual sections of a picture.
The notes, they put the little notes on it. The one thing that I find kind of odd, I'm sure there's a reason, but it's like Facebook is so from the guy that literally posts art every day online. Facebook.
Do you?
I try. The last 3 days I haven't had anything to share. So I've been like,
ain't nobody mad at you.
But Facebook is the worst. They compress your images to like blurry messes, is what they do. Instagram is okay, but it still compresses it. Twitter puts like full high resolution picture on there. It's like really odd. Like out of all the sites, I would not have guessed that they were the ones that would be like, oh yeah, we'll put the entire 3,000 pixel resolution.
Sure, no problem.
Like, okay, really odd, but whatever. Okay, next one is Fazoom came back with another comment. So
he was the nerd I was talking about.
He says, okay, I got to say more. That's what he started with. I got to say more. I changed jobs after 16 years, knowing I was being called to a new place, but then finding out that the boss for those 16 years and a mentor for just as many before that was waiting for me to go and letting that be known to other people. Well, it stings. I poured life into this, and you don't see me as more than a drone to off. Hurts to the core. Kudos to you, Kevin, for ever wanting to see a brick or a fan ever again. Yeah, that's so to that point, and then also to Keith's earlier point about just the loyalty being a one-way street, and it's just like that is something that I definitely have reflected on. Is through the years, I did have some wonderful offers and stuff thrown at me, and people trying to headhunt me for their companies, and I turned all that stuff down because I'm like, I am loyal to Lego, and what a fool! Like, I mean, it's just foolish to, and I do regret that. I regret like blindly, like, blindly being like, no, I'm not even gonna entertain it. I'm not like, that's just, and so that, to both of their points, don't be afraid to consider it, because it is a one-way street. It really is. It's a one-way street. Nobody is going to care about you like you do. That's just that's the reality of
it. Not as, so I don't, I don't work in a corporate environment. I work in a correctional environment. And for us, literally the company man, he worked, I say this, I had a fellow I worked with a few years back, came to work, worked doubles, worked on his day off, was on his way to sergeant, moving on up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Broke his neck in a car accident. Didn't kill him, but he was done. He never came back. Just like that. I mean, it's oh yeah, we'll keep you till the FMLA runs out. Then you're fired. Yeah.
It's just
So,
it just I don't know what else to say. Is just really keep that in mind, because I don't really think, unless you're talking about a business that's yours, or a company that's yours, or like working at your parents' restaurant. Like, I feel like if it is any type of business enterprise, they're not gonna, at the end of the day, they're not, push comes to shove, they're not going to really care. It's like, yes, it may be a wonderful life-changing experience. It certainly was for me, life-changing experience, but
sure,
it's not something that you need to just limit your own opportunities and your own potential moves and career moves. And there could be other awesome opportunities.
How old were you when you started in retail? Well, with Lego? 20.
Let me do the old math calculator.
21, 20?
20. Yeah, you got it.
See, and you worked there until you were 32. That's also, and for you guys that are 20 or younger, I'm not talking crap about it, but from 20 to 30 something, that's when a young man becomes a man with the experiences and things that he has to in life, just by life experience. He turns, and so that's just, I don't know where I was going. This was your prime. This was your juvenile. This was your young adult prime.
This is when you were like, you're going to settle into what you're going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Totally.
And so that also means quite a bit,
And Chris says, like, kudos to you for ever wanting to, be near a fan or engage with the hobby. I mean, there was certainly a degree of, oh my, I've got an entire house full of this stuff. There's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And even with that, I didn't look at like, this, and I'm like, I'm not mad at this. It's plastic bricks, I didn't do anything to me. And so like, I don't hate the medium or the products, because I still think they're stellar products. It doesn't mean they don't make boneheaded decisions as a business.
Yeah.
But I don't hate the product. In terms of like the community, I was, I guess the best word is scared. I was terrified to jump back in, because I'm like, I don't think I'll ever be able to get past the, oh my goodness, what happened? Right. Like that's, and yeah, there was certainly a degree with that. I feel like it stopped finally. I feel like it doesn't really happen anymore. But for that first year and a half.
Well, you still have people that don't know that you're gone.
There are people that don't know. They're like, hello. I've unfortunately been unable to connect with anyone at the Lego community team. Would you be able to help me? No. So that still happens all the time.
Sorry.
But yeah, when I sit there and collect my thoughts and go through it, I'm like, I still like the medium. I like playing with it. My kids like it. And I'm certainly not going to punish them. Be like, this brand is dead to this house. Like, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I definitely.
Funny story about my son. Go ahead.
It's seen in a different light now. So, it's not like this is why, one of the things I stopped doing, that you guys that have been around forever know, is like, I stopped posting the photos of like, look what set I built. Because I'm like, they don't need the extra marketing from me. Like they don't like, I don't need to share with my 5,000 Instagram followers a marketing image. It's like, no, that you're good. You're fine. Does it mean I don't post Lego photos? No, but it's just like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, you can get yours for $189.90. Like, nah,
right.
Nah. And that's why, I also, I try not to be too judgmental on others that do stuff like that. I was giving Reed a hard time, our friend
Reed, but okay.
I was giving him a hard time because he was talking about the Lego Bricks and Pieces site where you can order individual parts, and he's like, wow, I made a lot of money for Lego last night because I was like, why? Like, why? I was like, why would you do such a thing? That's like,
Reed, you all right over there?
I was like, don't do that. I was like, you push those sales to like community business like Brick 5 or something.
There you go.
But it's just, it's like, I try not to be too judgmental, but like I do see it in a different light. And like I'm also still like protective of the community just because, and I'll say this because I had a conversation recently with someone else about this very topic, is like my kind of instinctive.
Whatever you just did changed your audio.
Oh, I just put this down on the table. Is it still different?
It's better now.
Okay. I still like, so my like, parental, like I'm going to protect this group of people. That circle continues to shrink.
Yeah.
It continues to keep shrinking, and that's okay. It needs to.
Oh, for sure.
Because, as time goes on, there's more and more people that, don't engage with me, and that's fine. Like, it's clearly a transactional, mutually beneficial relationship, or it was, and there's no reason to. And so now like that circle, that pocket that I am still kind of protective of is just shrinking, and that's okay. Cause it's like, okay, mentally it's like, all right.
God, yeah. It's no longer the Americas.
Yeah. Like, goodness me. But yeah, let me move on. We don't have too many other comments, but
are we still doing comments?
Yeah, there's a few more. There's a few more. So Rixar came in with a couple. Let's see. I want to know why Rixar got the Lego Masters Fox box. Other people should have also got a sweatshirt that doesn't fit. It's like watching a movie. You know the ending, but you keep hoping it will be different. Yeah. Understood.
Yeah.
Let's see. Blockhead UK.
Oh, if I had hang on.
Yep.
Cass. If had I gotten the box with a shirt that did not fit me,
yep,
I promise you would have seen me wear it. I would have stuck all these rolls in there.
Everybody, I want to do this new box. It's just like, whoa, what is that? Yeah. All right. So Cass says, well, what can I say? What a dreadfully crappy way to end someone's career when they have poured everything into it. I can't imagine how awful it must have been for you, but I did appreciate Julian's analogy of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly over the last 2 years. For the issues at the start, I have to agree with Julian that large-scale events may well be many months away. The UK is emerging from lockdown now, still too soon in my opinion, but even if large gatherings were allowed, they're not. I would not be rushing to attend anything which could inadvertently turn into a super spreader event. Hell, it's traumatic enough going to get the weekly grocery shopping. Yeah.
That's right. I was going to mention that. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the next comment is from Shy Time is my time.
What up, Shy?
And Shy says, I cried. That's all. I cried.
That's somebody I'd like to talk to over here on this show.
For sure. And speaking of, we talked about retail earlier. There's just, at the end of the day, the retail employees work harder than the corporate employees. That's just how it is. I wore both hats and can confirm.
Boots on the ground, baby.
Oh, I mean, just, it's amazing because, I mean, they're there, in the store. It's like people in the ivory tower in corporate, write up these PDFs on set up this window display, and then they just fire it away. And they're like, well, I'm sure it'll be a late night. They'll probably get home at like 10. It's like, you don't realize you just took 6 people till 3 a.m. to do that. Like the people out in the field work harder than the people in the corporate office. Always do. Pink Wheels 3 says long time watcher, first time poster.
What?
Wait to the end. I like it. This tale is so sad, Kevin. I feel like most large corporations only have loyalty to whatever drives their revenue and margins, and in effect, increasing value for their shareholders. No matter what slogans or work cultures they tout. When I worked at a startup, one of the owners became my mentor and gave me the best advice when I was 28. Always do what is best for you, your career and family, because every manager, boss, owner, or corporation is going to do what's best for them. You are the only person that is always going to be looking out for your career. There he is. It is very sad advice, but I find it to be very true in most companies and work environments, and it seems to ring very true with your tale. And then our last comment is from InTalk.
Hey, Kim.
She said, sad one, guys, but we knew it was coming. So glad you are still in the community, Kevin.
It's nice to hear that some of the people that know you personally, and they're like, yeah, we knew. Yeah. We knew.
I mean, it doesn't make it any easier, but it's like that's gonna happen.
You know what? We do have an episode for next week.
All right, very good.
We do. We have the Bricksmith and Kevin Hinkle meetup tale, how we met and all that, how it was kismet.
I mean, we can.
I mean, if we don't want to, I don't know. Do you guys want to hear that?
Yeah, so, that is something that we've talked about at length, actually, over the last several weeks, because we knew that the end was near. And so,
the end is nigh.
yeah, what is the what is the future of the show? I mean, obviously, first and foremost, does the show happen at all? Second of all, if it does, what does it look like? These are all the questions that we're like we've been mulling over, and I think we're getting pretty close to like nailing it all down. But
for a couple of falls, we're getting real close.
We're getting pretty close to getting it down.
I feel comfortable.
Yeah, but it's. I certainly did not anticipate it being this long. I really didn't. And I can tell you pretty confidently that if I had not, I mean, I don't know how else to say it, coerced by Julian to do this, I wouldn't have done it. Like I have,
here's the thing, folks. Here's some real scuttlebutt and some real truth. So I spent an hour talking to Kevin, July. I think it might've been June of 18, 17. What year was it?
You're probably right. It was probably 18.
It was June of 18. I sat on the phone and I said, "Hey, Kevin, I think everybody needs to hear your story. Let's do a thing." And
I said no. I said no. I was like, no.
I don't think I bothered you more. Did I bother you again?
Yeah. No, you asked me like several times.
It was I think I did that. I think I was like at Philly. I think I said, "Let's do a thing. Let's tell your story."
Yeah.
Which was April.
Yeah.
Which was April. Right. And then June, I revisited it over the phone.
Yeah.
Because in April, he was like, "This guy's out of his mind."
Yeah, why you don't want that? You don't want this.
And then June, I called him again, asked him.
Well, because I also like participating in your live streams and stuff because you invited me into this.
Oh, absolutely.
And so there was more frequent communication in general.
Yeah.
But
that's right. And I was like,
there was definitely no's before there was yeses.
Yeah, but the other part was also I sat here and I still we still haven't hit what my plan was for this show because it was supposed to also remember the Pick-a-Brick episode. We were also supposed to go off on tangents on how things ran,
like certain
specific Lego specific things. Again, we got time. We're not done with the show. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I overspeak. I don't know. But then, like I said, I called him up and we talked for an hour. We were going through some. Me and mine were going through some funny business, and I talked to him for an hour, and then I was like. And then I let it go. I was like, all right. And then a couple of weeks later, I get a phone, or he calls me, or I called him. We were just talking, and he's like, "You still want to do the thing?" And I was like, "Yep."
Yep.
So Kevin actually is the one that finally pushed the go button without prompting from me.
Yeah,
that's how you get them.
I definitely remember.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I got a Hinkle.
Well, I definitely remember because as I had told you, just in general, I had been interested one day in hosting.
Oh, yes.
Or co-hosting some kind of podcast. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what it looked like, but I had the idea, and I'd had the idea for years because that's why I was like, oh, let me claim this, and this, and then whatever. That'll sit back there because I mean that's like I mentioned, that's how the whole Forever Story name came about. Is because I noticed it was unclaimed on all the different platforms, which I thought was kind of insane.
It's still crazy to this day.
Only because Lego has used it. Like they've used it as like a movie title twice. And I'm like, nobody and Chris McVeigh, who's now a product designer, but forever was, a very prolific member of the community. He was always posting.
Oh, he still is.
Well,
you need to draw a picture. You need to draw a picture of him and hashtag Carter Baldwin and chained to a Lego building table desk. That's what you.
I miss his post. I miss his post because his posts were like just so clean and
Lego
so
gold.
and he was like, I mean, almost daily, if not every other day. And the second he got hired, off. It was all
done.
No, like I think on Twitter, because he's on everything, but on Twitter he posted. No, he didn't even post. He like somebody else had posted like a picture or something saying congratulations, Chris McVeigh's 1 year anniversary at Lego or something like that, and then somebody like retweeted it and tagged him saying, everybody, we have proof or we have evidence that Chris McVeigh is alive because he has not. And like, you can check on his Twitter, he had like nothing for a year, nothing, no posts, no like, no comment, no nothing. But so yeah, I mean, he's a fantastic designer and just an incredible creative person. But yeah, the second he got employed, his creative output, and I mean, I would say his engagement in the community just off.
Done.
So, but
I gotta do a tangent sidebar or whatever. I would have a table in my house that did not show up any pictures I did. I would make a fake account, and then I would start reposting stuff on that table so no one knew where it was or who I was.
This is real.
I would. No, this is what I would. This is what I would do.
I thought you were confessing that you've done this.
No. We did have a YouTuber that had 3 separate YouTube channels, and he didn't talk in 2 of them. So he finally admitted that he had 3 at one point, and we're like, "Wait, you're our friend. What are you doing?" Apparently.
But yeah, I mean, the reason I brought him up is that he was another example of my confusion as to why that handle was available, because he also posted a lot of sorting pictures. Like, he's like, look, I've sorted, and he always used #foreversorting, always. Mm-hmm. And I was like, how has nobody? So, but that was another thing. It was like, well, I want to do this. And I remember thinking to myself, and I'm pretty sure telling you, I'm like, well, I think this will help get my feet wet into what this means to do this. And again, I didn't. Yeah, I was like, I didn't know what that's going to turn into, but I'm game to start experimenting. And I guess I will concede that it has to be about me first. that it's like, well, fine, whatever.
Well, legitimately, and it still stands firm to this day, when Kevin Hinkle speaks, even if it's not the big, huge group that it once was, the folks want to hear what you have to say. They want to hear what you have, your opinion on things, but they also want to know your history on things.
Yeah, there's definitely.
I still stand firm that it needed to be recorded.
Right. Believe me, I feel the weight. I feel the weight of the words sometimes, and that is why. I mean, you guys know, a lot of the people that watch this all the time, watch every show, know that. That's why you'll see me lurking in like a Twitch chat or whatever, and I won't say anything because I'm just like, I am well aware that sometimes even just me saying hello derails a conversation, because then maybe there's a really good chat going on about some new product, and then the second I say hello, it'll derail the conversation into, Kevin, do you know why they would have done that? And I don't want to do that. Like, I'm not trying to do that, and so there is some weight to it, and I try to be respectful. That it's not, I guess pun intended from where we are, but it's not the Kevin show. But it's like, I'm trying to, it's like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
But yeah, I mean, we've gone through everything, and I've asked this dozens of times, and I'm like, hey guys, listeners, what questions do you have? But I mean, this is kind of it. It's I mean, more specifically about, my tale and my career and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, obviously, as every year goes by too, my knowledge becomes incredibly useless just because Lego itself tends to reinvent itself constantly.
Your knowledge from the Lego group
right
goes less and less. Your knowledge as an AFOL increases exponentially because of the angle you're coming from.
I guess that's fair.
I mean, you have forgotten more about Lego than I'll know.
It's kind of true. That's a
I am not a rookie. Okay, folks. I know the brick.
That's actually a really awesome quote. Is you have forgotten more than I have. That's kind of.
And I'm not mad about it, but I'm going to, folks. If you want knowledge, you go to the source. You learn it. You know. Still don't know those little squiggly things from the Bionicle first route that you guys talk about. I still don't know what you're talking about, but I know you know about it, and I know more now.
Squid launcher. The squid launcher.
Squid launcher. That's it. Squid launcher. Yeah.
It's such
like episode 4 if you wanted to know.
Yeah, it's such a silly thing. But yeah, I mean, if you guys listening do have something, obviously, we go through the comments, and we probably, it sounds like we will have another one.
I mean, I did just ruin it a little bit, but I can fluff it up.
So, but then after that, I think it's safe to let you guys know that the
be prepared.
What we have here in its current form will take a little bit of a break. Sounds like Julian maybe have some fun stuff, guys, planned for you. But this will have a little bit of a break while we figure out what we're gonna do.
Don't freak out. We have all intentions of bringing this back.
Yeah, don't.
Okay. In some form or fashion, at some level. You're scaring him, Kevin. You're scaring him. Don't scare him.
Just trying to be upfront.
Yeah. What it's called, Kevin, is Forever Sorting with Kevin A. Hinkle is taking a hiatus and will be back sooner than later. And in the interim, I am doing my best to give you content that you will want to see so you don't have to sort alone or build alone on Saturday morning, specifically Keith talking to you. He and that also brings up one of my point I need to make. Because of YouTube, this will not be airing at 7 a.m. because YouTube is stupid. Should have said it at the beginning of the video, but I'm saying it now. It'll be up whenever YouTube decides to stop being dumb.
There you go.
They've started processing. They haven't started processing. If you're on YouTube, they do the processing thing, and it used to take less than an hour. Now it takes 14 or 16 hours to do it. And because I want to record so close to the deadline
when it goes,
right, we are now over that mark. And
I got you.
Not Kevin's fault. My one's mine.
Time, 14 hours or whatever. That's like a long time.
It really stupid. I think last week's episode aired at, I think it was live at 10:30 a.m. Sure. So it was 3.5 hours past where we normally run live. And I like being consistent, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. Sure. Professional.
No, consistent, not a professional.
Not
You're professional. I'm consistent.
He's combined. That's awesome.
Robot goats.
Do we have anything else to talk about?
I don't know. We love you and thank you for watching for all this time. And this is not the end, but this is a to be continued in some form or fashion.
I want someone to make a GIF of you just going, I don't know.
What is he doing? Do we really want to end this? I don't think we do.
But still.
That's it, Kevin's just going to walk. Kevin's going to put a sign in his shirt that says back in 15 minutes.
I mean, gone fishing.
That shows up over 90 episodes, by the way.
It what? Oh, yeah, nice.
That show. Yeah. We're cooking. Not everybody cares, but there's some that do.
Not everybody cares. I still watch it every now and then. Not every episode, but every now and then.
No. Why would you? Because you know what you do. You don't know where those parts are anyway. They're in a big bin behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't listen to really know anything about the part. Like I listen to just hear the banter is all I'm like,
I understand.
I want to know, like I open it up and I go, will this be an episode that Julian says hello, or will he be quiet and force Keith to say something, or is it'll be the other way around? And then what are the like jokes? Like what jokes go down? But like in terms of the part, I'm like, whatever. Like,
but here's the thing. Again, there you go. It's the part education now that a lot of people have been like, this is why I like it. I don't really care where you put it, but I like to know all the stats on the part. And
that was that last one was pretty funny. That like the A thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, this part is called like 1x4, comma, hinge, comma, A-shaped frame with bar 4 studs on 2 sides, whatever. It's like,
it's an A.
an A.
But yeah.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good. So hopefully I'll have my are we doing an episode next week or not? What are we doing? We need to tell them now. I don't know if I got it in me. I don't know if I have a whole hour episode.
All right, you guys need to let us know in the comments. We'll be watching it and we'll be seeing what the masses want.
We'll have a phone conversation. We'll text each other.
If we have enough like questions and stuff, we can maybe go through them. But if it's just like, thanks everybody, then it's like, okay, then we're good.
All right. So you guys decide what happens next week.
Yeah, it's in your hands. If it's a bunch of good job, then we'll take that as we did good and we'll be back when we're back. And then if it's a bunch of like, I have a question, then we will go through it and, take care of it. That's a fair idea.
I think so. I mean, you guys have been loyal fans.
It is in your hands.
So we want you guys to, that makes good sense. We want you guys to decide what happens next week. Will this be the last episode, or will there be one more? Find out next week on.
Like you have the title swipe scene. Love it. So that's it.
Well, potentially for the last time. That's Kevin A. Hinkle. It's not gonna be the last time.
Julian Bricksmith. No. I was to say Julian Bricksmith Smith. It's like,
do it.
Julian Bricksmith Smith. With the little 2, the little squared.
Little Bricksmith Smith. All right. From all of us here at Forever Sorting to all of you at home, remember, you gotta love those bricks. Bye, everybody.
See ya.